It's our big story of the hour. The centre will be moving the Supreme Court over its judgment to commute the death sentences of Rajiv Gandhi's assassins. The Attorney General will be urging the Apex Court to review its judgment. Now, this coming after the Tamil Nadu government's decision to release the convicts after the Apex Court commuted their death sentence. Javed Ansari, our National Affairs Editor, now joining us on the phone line. Javed, this is in fact a huge development. Considering that the centre is really going to be moving the Supreme Court. This is, remember, right after Jaya yesterday issued a statement saying that she's giving the centre only 3 days to reply. So both sides really not willing to back down.
The centre has been moved into action after Rahul Gandhi's intervention in Amethi yesterday afternoon. Before that, there was a air of resignation and air of acceptance. Both Finance Minister Mr. Chitambram as well as the Law Minister Mr. Sibbal said this stems out of a court decision. However, after Rahul Gandhi's emotive intervention yesterday afternoon, the centre has swung into action. Now, as far as the question of backing down is concerned, Jaya is doing it with an eye on the polls. For the Congress party, especially for the Gandhi family, it's a very emotive issue, and that's why the Congress is now, at this late stage, swung into action. But it also begs the question, what was the UPA government doing? They were sitting on this file. Why didn't they move the courts much earlier? Why wait for a state government to take this decision and then move for redressal?
Absolutely, Javed Ansari, National Affairs Editor. Thank you so much for bringing us that update. Jaskirat Singh Baba, our correspondent, also joining us on the phone line. Jaskirat, let's try and understand the timeline for this now, because like we discussed with Javed, Jaya saying that the centre has only 2 days to put this into action. Otherwise, these convicts will in fact be released. And now the centre planning on moving the Supreme Court. So what kind of timeline are we looking at right now?
Well, the big question coming in over here from a lot of people within the eminent jurist circles is whether or not Jaya is actually following the due course of law, the due course of procedure. And although we do not have an exact detail about what exactly the stand the government will be taking in the Supreme Court or on what grounds of contention they will be questioning the Tamil Nadu government stand, we do know that it is likely that the centre via its Attorney General may come to the Supreme Court today to try and put a spanner in this procedure set in motion by the Tamil Nadu government, specifically Jaya. There are 2 different ways in which the Tamil Nadu government could have gone about the remission of sentences. One would have involved by a panel. That panel has not been set up or has been announced by the cabinet yesterday. And the second would have involved a consultation with the central government through at least the MHA, because it was the CBI which was initially involved in this particular case. So what exactly would be the technicality with which the government will approach the Supreme Court on the legal grounds is a matter of wait and watch. We'll have to see in the due course of the day whether the government will be filing or if it considers this an emergency and may even mention the matter in the Supreme Court.
Jaskirat, stay with us. We also have Sanjay Hegde, lawyer, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Hegde, if you can actually just break it down for us, tell us what the options are before both parties and how this is going to pan out now.
See, the first question is, can the death sentence be commuted to life imprisonment? If the centre wants to challenge that basic judgment of the Supreme Court, it has to file a review petition. A review petition is not heard in open court unless the judges decide upon reading the petition that they need an oral hearing. Normally, review petitions are not entertained, and this is a petition which, to my mind, is unlikely to succeed because now there are 2 successive judgments of the Supreme Court, one which was delivered a month ago, and now in the Rajiv Gandhi case. The other part is letting these people out on remission. The Tamil Nadu government's order is, to my mind, ineffective without a concurring order of the central government.
Right.
If the Tamil Nadu government were to pass any such order, it cannot be given effect to, because that is what Section 435, subclause 2 says, that in any matter where the prosecution is by the CBI, there have to be these grants of remission by both the state government as well as the central government for it to be carried out into effect. So the order of the Tamil Nadu government may exist on paper, but it cannot be given effect to until the centre also passes that order, which this government is unlikely to.
Right. So Mr. Hegde, what happens now if this 2-day sort of deadline that Jayalalitha in fact claimed that the centre had? You said that both parties, they have to have the grants of remission because as you have maintained. So what happens post 2 days now?
The Tamil Nadu government is misinformed in law or is deliberately misinforming the people.
Okay.
They probably very well know in law that they cannot pass that order. They are passing that order to say that, look, we have done everything, now it is the centre which is not releasing.
Sanjay Hegde, senior lawyer, thank you so much for speaking with Headlines today. And Jaskirat Singh Bawa also giving us the breakup and trying to understand what happens henceforth now that the centre is in fact making this decision to move the Supreme Court. And now our correspondent Kamaljit Sandhu joins us live on this story. Kamal, we see there have been major developments since the morning. The centre, in fact, planning to move the Supreme Court, urging a review petition on this on the verdict, the commutation of the death sentence to life. But now we understand that as Mr. Sanjay Hegde told us, that both parties have to have the grants of remission. It's not just the state government that is a single player in this. The centre also has to take a call. And we also heard Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde over there very, very clearly maintaining that the state government has not approached him, that he has no such letter issued to him so far.
Well, there is definitely a point of confrontation between the state and the centre. The centre clearly pointing out that the state cannot take a unilateral decision. So obviously both of them are referring to section 432 and 435 of the CRPC. The 432, as stated by the state, clearly says that the decision can be taken by the cabinet and it can be referred to the governor in case of remission. But obviously article 435 of CRPC clearly states that in cases where a central investigative agency has investigated the case and the case is before the court, it clearly says the state has to approach the Ministry of Home Affairs through the governor. The centre has to take a final call. So obviously there seems to be confrontation. At this point of time, the centre has made up its mind that they will be approaching the Supreme Court, blocking this particular order itself. Remember, this is a very emotive and a politically hot issue as far as Tamil Nadu parties are concerned. We've seen the statement of Mr. Chidambaram also coming, saying he's not elated, not unhappy about this, but giving a very neutral sort of a stance. But Congress party overall has given thrashing statements. They've really thrashed AIDMK and DMK over this issue. Clearly means that Congress is going to oppose this tooth and nail, even approaching the court. And many are saying that Jayalalitha, in an effort to steal the thunder, to take credit from the DMK, has gone ahead and jumped the gun, has given 3 days ultimatum to the centre. These are not standard operating procedures. They need to have time to study as to what the Supreme Court has said. It cannot be a unilateral decision of the state. So obviously we're going to see a politically hot day as far as Rajiv Gandhi's killers are concerned.
Right.
Rahul Gandhi has already made that statement. We know that centre is going to go for that step and approach the Supreme Court today.
Kamaljit Sandhu, thank you so much for bringing us that update. We'll continue tracking the story as it develops further in the day.